What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of Dev Talks with your host Travian, where we talk about everything engineering and technology wise. And in this video, Elon Musk apparently goes through with his lawsuit with OpenAI and Apple. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let's dive right in.
He threatened this earlier this month on X, and now he's gone through with that threat. Ultimately, could it do anything to the relationship that OpenAI does have with Apple and vice versa?
I don't see so. I mean, if they consider this an antitrust violation, that being the courts or the government or what have you, what Apple would have to do is open up what they call extensions within Siri. So right now, the OpenAI relationship is what's called an extension. In Siri, if it doesn't understand one of your commands or it doesn't have the knowledge to answer one of your commands, it uses OpenAI's ChatGPT as a fallback option. Now, when Apple introduced this functionality, it said that they would have other available AI services, right? And so they said that Gemini would be there. Gemini never actually came to fruition there. There's a lot more behind the scenes with the search engine lawsuit, working with Gemini on other facets that have gotten in the way of that. But it's possible that they open this up to third parties, allow XAI, allow Grok, allow Claude, allow different AI services in there, and that would certainly solve the issue. And Elon is right. They do give pretty hot promotion to some of the other AI companies in the App Store. They haven't done a lot of that promotion for Grok, and so maybe we'll see more of that from Apple. But all in all, I find this lawsuit to be frivolous. I don't personally consider it an antitrust situation, but it's obviously not up to me to decide. And it is a little surprising that Elon Musk actually went through with this.
Go.
So when we're looking at this antitrust lawsuit, I remember, I believe it was a few weeks ago, like he said earlier this month, Elon's threatened to sue them. And a lot of people thought, yeah, he's just saying things at times. And the reason why he was suing them was because the ranking for Grok and XAI products and stuff being lower than like ChatGPT and OpenAI products and other things. And he thought more people were downloading Grok than what they were ranking it at. And it was unfair for him and his company and all that other stuff. So he threatened to sue them. And, you know, he throws out a lot of hot smoke sometimes, but sometimes he actually goes through with things, and he actually did. A lot of people thought he was just saying words when he first threatened them. It turns out that these were not just words. He actually meant it, and he is going about it, because the thing about it is it's not going to hurt OpenAI's relationship with Apple unless they are forced to by a judge in some way to then cater to and open themselves up to more different AI companies and exactly what they're talking about. This new thing that he was actually bringing up about the antitrust stuff where Siri uses OpenAI as a backup, that makes sense. I understand them using that to an extent because their biggest AI partner, Apple's biggest AI partner, is not Gemini. It is not Grok. It is not any of the other ones, Anthropic or anything like that. It is OpenAI. Apple Intelligence, what they call their AI stuff, is heavily built up of OpenAI's product and ChatGPT and all of that other stuff. It has a lot of like interweaving with a lot of OpenAI technologies and stuff like that, because Apple has not fully built out their own LLMs ready to go to market and everything else from that aspect. Therefore, if they have Siri as an issue, and Siri is kind of a web search thing in a sense, and you would think you would want to put Gemini on it, but that's where he went to as the reason why Gemini is not even in that aspect when you're talking about search. And I just did a video last week that came out talking about search as well with Safari, that they use Google's search engine in Safari to a degree, and they were thinking about moving away and trying some different stuff. And then Google's also going through this stuff where they're afraid that they'll have to sell Chrome and lose out on a lot of that capabilities and part of their company that helps them thrive to the level that it does. I think Gemini thrives more because it's built off of and is probably training off of Google search as a whole in some sense. So there is a lot of different stuff all across the board here where why certain decisions were made and other decisions are kind of siloed. I would have thought that they would. I guess it makes sense. But like I said, they use OpenAI for a lot of their other stuff, So it makes sense for Siri to use OpenAI as a secondhand, you know, helper over Gemini, especially when they're Gemini and the search stuff is kind of weary right now with this lawsuit with the federal government goes. So yeah, so I Elon sometimes one of the things that I like to say is take people at their word. I know there's a lot of people who don't take Elon at his word because of how he acts sometimes, but in other times you thought he was joking. He's showing he's not playing around, and he's gonna do anything. And you know how this lawsuit helps Elon, and what Elon does so great about is promoting his own companies. This is a promotion for him. Hey, we're in the news, and we're in the news about XAI and Grok, and we're going to be in the news with OpenAI and some other stuff. And I think I seen something about Sam Altman complaining and talking about how Elon's lawsuits are damaging stuff and whatever. I could probably find it, and we can review that as well too in another video after this one. But at times, to prepare yourself, take people at their word. And you know who should have always been prepared for Elon? OpenAI. Because Sam Altman and Elon have been beefing for the longest. The same reason Sam Altman beefs with Zuck. They all be beefing. He be beefing back and forth with either one of them. They all want their products to be the best ones. They all going to be having this conflict for years to come. You guys have no idea. So, yes, there could be in a way where Elon is correct in a sense if Apple is only using OpenAI and giving them a better app rating because of their relationship with OpenAI. So it's not giving fair competition in the App Store. And the reason why it's not fair competition is because a lot of apps, they don't get downloaded every single day. There's a lot of apps. It is hard for apps to get have consistent download growth. There's some days where an app won't even get downloaded once. There's some days where an app becomes trendy at a time and it gets millions or hundreds of thousands of downloads. It really depends on the application, and the more they need to promote it. That's why you see all these mobile games always doing these promotional ads to try to get you just to download the app and get in there so that they can get you. There's a lot of these app makers and app developers. It is hard for them to promote themselves out further and going beyond getting people to use the product, download their product. And the one thing that I think that kind of it's a good thing and bad thing at the same time is a lot of people on X who use Grok probably aren't going to download a separate Grok app. I can see them potentially doing it, but if they're only using Grok for social media purposes and things like that, maybe it's not something that they download on their own, especially when Grok hasn't been used in a lot of different stuff. We don't really hear too much news about Grok's great innovation and things. Maybe when I say we don't hear it as much, I mean as much as Gemini and Google and OpenAI and ChatGPT and all these other companies. We don't hear it at the level Grok at the same level. The only people that are really probably focused on Grok really like that are the people on Twitter and that use Twitter or use X, whatever you want to call it now. But yeah, let's see if they have anything else to add on to this, and then we'll wrap this up.
To the context, of course, that you put forward in a story on Friday, that the relationship between Gemini AI and Apple does look like it might get closer.
So Apple's building a new version of Siri for next spring, and it's obviously much needed for reasons that I don't have to spend an hour listing now. But they basically have two paths. They can go completely in-house with the new version of Siri, and by in-house, I mean self-developed large language models to power it, or they could use a third party to help out in terms of building the new Siri. So they've been talking to a bunch of possible partners to see if they're willing to power aspects of that new Siri. So they've been talking very much to Claude from Anthropic, and I believe eventually they'll reach some sort of agreement. But more recently, they started negotiations with Google about Google building a model based on its Gemini technology for Apple as well. So we'll see where they ultimately land in a few months.
So yeah, that's basically where we got going on with this whole lawsuit and stuff. And like I said, I don't see I see Apple working on their own LLMs and stuff right now, especially for the next year. By next year, I don't think it will be fully ready. Knowing how Apple is for a company overall, I definitely think they're going to be working with a third party in the beginning with this new Siri and setting it up and getting all those details all meshed out and figuring out how they're going to get all that stuff to work and all that fun. But they definitely are. I definitely heard rumors of them actually starting on their own work and their own LLMs in house, and for them wanting to be more independent. They just lost a lot of time, talent, and time in this race. So they will be most likely working with a third party for a lot of this stuff, and hopefully we'll see them gradually work out these third party people, and they're just going to be self reliant. Who knows? I feel like that's better for any company that's self-reliant, and that's one of the good things about grok is, in a sense, like it's in there and incorporated with Twitter. Like the best applications are the ones that are all incorporated with each other. Like when you have Google, you look at all the different aspects and parts of Google and Gemini and search and Chrome, like all of that stuff together and how it meshes together and how you build off of each one of those products. Those are pretty the most stable ones typically, when you have some type of structure like that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate everybody who tunes in. Thank you very, very much. You guys have no idea how much it means to me. Actually, we had a great month so far, and we're gonna keep having greater ones. So, but also, if you want to send me any recommendations, send me an email at devtalkspodcast@gmail.com, and everything's gonna be in the description down below. Without further ado, peace. See y'all next time.